What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Kyrie Irving is becoming somewhat of a activist. I don't know what the cause is or what it's going to lead to be real. But he takes a stance, and from what I'm understanding is that this stance against what's happening to him may soon point to an early retirement. And I honestly believe Kyrie Irving doesn't want to play basketball anymore. He doesn't want to play basketball. He's really talented. He doesn't want to play basketball anymore. So this is another way for him to do something different. To, in my opinion, get kicked out the league, even though what he's saying is right. He's like Colin Kaepernick. Those people they don't want to play professional sports anymore, despite what they're saying. All right? But I want to play this small clip, and then I'm going to come back.
We do. I'm not putting my kids through this system that's designed to distract and demean and destroy character based on race, culture, class. I'm a native and I'm a black man or African man. I had to identify that because that's what was given to me in this Euro-centralized society. I had to identify as a race. I had to identify as a culture. I have to identify what my religion is. But the reason why I'm speaking like this is because to my generation and to the older generation, we can't have this.
So you heard what the brother was saying about this generation is not going to take certain things and, want to stand up. And it sounds very revolutionary. But then again, we need to really be serious, which unfortunately, blacks typically in this era cannot be, reasoned with, brothers. And I'm not hating on Brother Kyrie. I just want to be honest with you. You can be right about what he's saying, and I do believe he's right. But you're not going to take this. How are you not going to take this? You don't work with your people to achieve anything. So that's first and foremost. The only time black people tend to unite is in a possibly race beef against somebody else. And that typically is something like, ADOS, FBA versus, immigrants. You'll see that. You'll see Black Lives Matter protesting against, police violence. East Coast, West Coast rap beef, things like that. After those things typically dissolve, you go back to doing what you did before. Just similar to what the disciples did once the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. They went back to what they were doing before. And the motivation that they had to do something different is now lost. So what are black people going to be revolutionary to do what? The revolutionary behavior is not in fighting against or speaking out against the Jews or speaking out against white supremacy. You've been doing that for years. We've been doing that for years. Nothing has happened. But now, if I don't appreciate my brothers, if I'm not intentional about the sisters, if I'm not intentional about working with our people to create as much of a black utopia that I can, if the black historians, and I'm talking about the educators that we have, Dr. Amos Wilson, in today's age, and I know a lot of you brothers are turned up on, but people like Dr. Umar Johnson, right? He's historians. John Henry Clark. When your historian class cannot unite with your business class, we don't even bring our people together. Our money stays in the black community for 6 hours. And you're telling me you're going to make a revolution? Those people are going to go back and rebel. And 3 to 4 weeks later, you're going back to work for your Jewish boss. You're going back to work for your white boss. And in some cases, you're going back to work for an Hispanic boss. Because you don't want to solve the problems in your community. When you can. All right. 90% of black problems, I feel we have the God-given talent and the drive and the innovation. We have the money. We got all the money. Black people have a lot of money. I never have to worry about blacks with money. In Africa and America, we have the money, we have the talent, we have resources, we have everything that we need. So the money, don't tell me we don't have that. But we just don't have people who want to be intentional about bringing our people together to think and then solving, doing a little bit of sacrificing, reinvesting in our people to create what we want to see long term. We don't want to do the work. So we want to get upset and have these little emotional revolutions that typically take us back to where we are in the beginning of the revolution, which is nowhere. And you're talking about the same thing you're talking about in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. Farrakhan's been talking about the Jews own hip hop and they own athletes or whatever. Okay. What has been done to stop that? You got some people who could agree with what you're saying, but you've done nothing. You haven't created, I'm not talking about him personally, I'm talking about the black community. You haven't created the situations to keep money into your community in the entertainment industry. Because you don't want to do the business. You don't want to own the business. You want to be on the TV. You want to be on the microphone. You don't want to own things. You don't want to learn from people who are beating us at our own game and provide value for our people, because no other people knows our community like we do. We are the ones that solve the problems. We are the ones that bring community-based driven solutions. But what we want to do is rebel. Rebel when you have nothing. Rebel when you don't even work with your people. When y'all work for, your banker is a Jew or a Jewish person or a white person or an Asian person. They get community. You're the one that's having a problem with it. So what revolution are you doing? Again, James Brown had a song, and I believe that song was with Bobby Blue Bland, if I'm not mistaken. That song was called Talking Loud and Not Saying Nothing. All right? Black people need to get out of the pontification behaviors, and we need to get practical. We do not create, all right, what we want to see. Businesses are going to come in our community. We don't have any kind of incubators that would train young people in business to solve problems for communities. We don't do that. All right? We just want to be able to, because we're so powerless, rebel. It makes you feel good for a certain time. Even the guys who are talking about what they're saying. All right? Is actually with Bobby Bird, rather. So you're talking about something that you can achieve. Nothing will happen. You're talking about nothing. And everybody knows it. What are you rebelling against? And then you're going to come back 3 weeks later and you're going to say sorry. Sorry, Nike. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. I want to come back to the NFL. Please let me come back. After talking shit about it. Because you don't want to be competitive with your group. Every group works with the power. I want to get my group power. I got to add value to my business community. Then once we get those things, it takes work. Now I'm going to make you pay for talking about black people. I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to send you to our black historian class. And you're going to have to give money to our leagues and our causes when you talk shit about us. We don't do that. We are the ones who, people don't take us serious. And nobody takes Kyrie Irving serious when he says that. Because where's the power coming from? Black people don't even have the mind to do right by each other. We don't have the mind to build for each other. We don't even have a mind to get married to each other. So what are you talking about? How are you going to compete against the people that have a culture like that? A strong culture of respecting their history, a strong culture of respecting their women, a strong culture of respecting their businesses, a strong culture of wanting to work together. That's what they have. You mean you're going to compete against that? Absolutely not. We got to do the hard work. Guys, it takes years. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. I'm out. Peace.